This is Doug and Steve here with Tommy Dreamer here at C2E2 in Chicago. Tommy, thank you for being on our podcast.
You're welcome. I hate podcasts. I don't really do them ever, but you caught me here. So, and you're both dressed like Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, so I figured might as well.
Thank you.
This isn't audio. I'm just trying. I mean, this isn't visual. It's just audio. Trying to describe to your listeners what you guys are dressed at here at the C2E2. I'm dressed as Tommy Dreamer, which means I'm wearing all black to cover my fat.
It's a much better costume than ours.
Exactly. I've been wearing this costume for 25 years now.
We actually have a segment on our podcast called the Tommy Dreamer Shout Out of the Week.
Okay.
Where we actually give a quick shout out to you, talk about something.
Well, you should have told me that at first, and I would have definitely, because I hate the podcast. But now you told me you give a weekly shout out to me. That's awesome.
We'd like to start off asking you about House of Hardcore. There was amazing news that you guys just got a great deal with Fight TV, I believe it is.
Fight Network, yes.
Fight Network. How did that come about?
They just contacted, I have like a company that's trying to make me more legit, and they put together a nice little deal, and it was awesome because it helps promote my show up there in Toronto, and all the stars aligned, and now I have some television. There's going to be some more bigger announcements in the future coming, but for now, all my focus is for the Fight Network, which starts May 12th, also available on Roku for free, and then the show starts July 18th. The live show should be in Toronto.
Wonderful. Now, I know along with all our listeners, are really looking forward to checking that out. I've been to a couple of House of Hardcore shows myself. They're fantastic.
Why don't you tell me that one before you start? Most wrestlers don't like doing the podcast stuff, but if you tell me the stuff that, hey, I supported your company, I will support your company. See, that's how it works. You scratch my back, I scratch yours, not literally because you're wearing a Roman Reigns outfit.
Every time I meet you, I always get something. So,
what shows have you been to?
I was at the Philly show.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
But
where do you live?
I live here in Chicago.
You traveled that way. I appreciate it.
It's a bit of a haul, but it was well worth it.
Well, thank you very much. That's what all your listeners are. I want everyone to. I'm a wrestling fan, man, and for the fact that you drove all those miles to me means the world to me because it's about the show and the experience, not about the individuals. I've been part of a great team before, and all my shows I've assembled a great team as well. And I want to say with me, wrestling and music are the two things that correlate the most. You can hear a song and then all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, you can remember who you were with, what you were doing, and it hits an emotion of you. I know for me, like I saw Road Warrior Animal over there, and as soon as I see him, I think of me and my father. My father's no longer with me, and I think of the time I had with him when the Road Warriors first came to the Northeast in the Meadowlands, and just a great time I had with my dad. So I always want fans to be part of an experience, and I think that's what's lost in professional wrestling, the emotion, that attachment, but for you to tell me that means a lot to me.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because you're always extremely interactive with your fans on Twitter, online. Has that come as a result of seeing the way that other wrestlers don't interact as much, or is it just a personal preference from you?
To me, it's just a personal preference. I mean, again, I was a fan, and and a lot of people know my story of Bob Backlund, how he snubbed me for an autograph many, many years ago when at my first ever wrestling show I was 9, and I made a sign for him, and that I always remembered how I felt when I asked him for an autograph and he didn't give it to me. So, and when I was a fan, wrestling was very, very secretive and all that stuff. So I just think it's a cool way to reach out to people who supported me my whole career and just say thanks or just answer them a question until they start to get follow me, please retweet me. Then I get a little sick of it. But besides, no. But I don't really like to follow people. And I've retweeted a few people, which are cool. But I've also learned that there's a few scams, like where people have tried to get money for stuff that's not there. So you always got to be a little bit careful. But yeah, social media has changed wrestling, but it's a cool way for me to interact with people who supported me.
Fantastic. And even when through ECW, you've been extremely interactive with the fans, always brought them into the matches. How did that come about for the same way? Is just to get people involved, to make them feel as part of the show?
Well, in ECW, they were part of the show, and it was just an extra step of it. I remember the first time it happened where a fan handed me, I want to say it was like a carton of eggs. It was me versus Raven, and I was like, oh, or like a boat oar. It was just like a fan brought this to a show, and I'd be like, oh, I will use that. So honestly, you think, hey, I'm going to go to a wrestling match where I'm going to bring a boat oar, but back then in days, hey, we got to use it. Or I'd tell fans to hold up a chair, and I ran the guy into the chair. It just kind of happened by chance, and then it kind of became my thing, which WWE would never let allowed due to suing and all that stuff.
Yeah, all that fun stuff.
You can't have fun sometimes. Come on, man. How dare you have fun when you attend? No, with them it's more for legal reasons.
Right. Now, there's so many questions I want to ask you, but it's so little time because we want to try to keep this a short interview. But
so wait, tell me about your Tommy Dreamer shout-out thing.
So we have a Tommy Dreamer shout-out of the week. So what we do is we pick one cool bit of Tommy Dreamer news or something, a bit of hardcore news.
That's cool.
When you release the press release came out.
And it's every week. What if I have a down week? You talk about like Tommy Dreamer just pooped in a porta potty at the Chicago White Sox game Thursday night. I tweeted that.
That will be this week's Tommy Dreamer shout of the week.
I appreciate that.
No, I mean we'll go back and we'll look at
that's
the
cool.
Tommy Dreamer match. And
thank you.
It's again, it came as all of us being fans of your work, and we were like, who's the coolest person we can give a shout out to? And we're like, Tommy Dreamer. So, but we're gonna wrap this up here. We've talked to you for 5 minutes. Don't want to keep you too much longer. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, I thank you. I thank you for your podcast, even though I hate the podcast. I limit myself to doing them, but this was a pretty cool one, and thank you for everyone who listens and is a fan of House of Hardcore or myself. Thank you for the support, and keep on doing it and keep on living the dream. And my social media is The Tommy Dreamer on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And I don't know how to reply to people on Instagram, but I'm pretty good at Twitter.
All right. Fantastic. And that was us speaking with Tommy Dreamer at C2E2.